For an immediate right of reply to issues raised by our last guest, we're now being joined by Bode Olanipekun, President, Olashore International Alumni Association. You're welcome, Bode.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Good morning. Good to have you. I think it's important to first clarify that you are not here to speak for the school, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm not a representative of the school.
Okay.
I'm an ex-student as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you listened to Obiamaka?
Absolutely, yes, I did.
Are you familiar with the case?
Oh, yes, I am familiar with the case because we've had interactions with her.
Okay.
We've also had interactions with a couple of about two, or we've got representations from a few of the named persons.
Okay.
So yes, I'm aware of.
So what's your assessment, given how strong Obiamaka is, and from what she has said, you can appreciate, the pain she's been through in almost 18 years. As the president of the alumni, what's your position? The school has formed a panel to again look into what happened, 17 plus years ago. But what do you make of it? What do you think Obiamaka should look forward to in seeking justice?
Okay, thanks. So I think the first point I should make is that it's absolutely improper and intolerable for anybody to have their persons violated. Sexual abuse, physical assault, those conducts are absolutely unacceptable. So I was in Olashore International School for the entirety of my secondary school yes. education, and there were values that the school projected, and certainly this is not one of them. We have quite a number of our school alumni doing very well in their chosen fields of endeavor, and it's some credit to the school that those kind of groundings, proper groundings, were given. For Obiamaka, I terribly sympathize with her and the circumstances that have led to this recent public engagements. But you see, the point is this: these allegations are very serious, they're very grievous. The school has been named. Former students, ex-students have also been named. And I believe that there should be a fair process that will take representations from all the persons involved. So that would be able to, if we adopt a consequence-based approach, first, let's ascertain what happened, the truth of what happened, right? Let's now go forward to see that were those issues dealt with as appropriate at that time. Further issue would be, are there additional things that should be done? And I think we should also see if indeed there was a cover-up, or if these issues were publicly dealt with at that time. Publicly dealt with, fairly dealt with. I think that would be a good approach to take.
Mm. You've made it very clear that you're not speaking on behalf of the school, and you are, in fact, the president of the school's Alumni Association. Could you first let me know what interests you then have in this case, then, since you can't speak for the school and you're obviously not Obiamaka, of what relevance is your opinion to this matter?
And you've not been named in any of this, right, as an association, the alumni?
No, we haven't been named
exactly.
As an association. But what happened immediately this news broke out was that we reached out to Obiamaka as one of us, and to also make sure that a proper process is put in place to address these issues. So we had asked if she was fine with us engaging with the school to try to verify what exactly happened.
On her behalf, or independently, or?
Independently.
Okay.
Independently. And we wrote to the school as well, and the school agreed to engage with us. So we took representations from her. We also reached out to the named individuals. We took representations from some of them. The school also afforded us some kind of representation, but we had not yet taken very formal representations from the school. But because of the seriousness of the issues raised, and of course there were legal issues cropping up, and I even heard that there have been representations from lawyers, we thought that it was better that this thing went to an independent panel of persons with unquestionable integrity, in a manner of speaking, so that they take representations, because it's clear. I mean, what we began to see were diametrically opposed positions. So Obiamaka gave us side of events. We spoke with some of the guys involved. They also gave their side, denied
wrongdoing
in the manner of sexual assault, but they claimed that the school had meted out some punishment to them, not for sexual assault, but I think for loitering, for, according to them, being at the wrong place.
They didn't admit
at the wrong
that
time.
there was an encounter with Obiamaka.
So they did not admit that there was sexual assault.
Was there an encounter?
Oh, well, I mean, they agree that everybody was probably at about the same place at the same time, right? So they did not admit that there was sexual assault. And the way these things work, they probably were the only eyewitnesses to the event, right?
So they were being accused.
No. I mean the people there, okay. And I'm not speaking for them because it's obviously. I mean, which is why I say this must go through a fair process, absolutely, an independent process, so that if they indeed were culpable of issues of sexual assault, of course, you now take it further. What was the consequence for their actions at that time? Because, like I said earlier, it must be an objective, consequence-based system.
Well, I mean, right? Obiamaka's claims are very clear, and specific. And she was very clear about her dissatisfaction with the manner in which the school is going about it, the complaints, which it looks to me like you have alluded to that while you have spoken with people in the school, you've not had a formal engagement with them, and that you will prefer that there's a kind of independent panel rather than the one that the school itself has established. Am I correct?
So, I think the way we go about achieving an independent panel is open to discussion. What's important for me is the values that the members of the panel subscribe to. So, who are these persons that have been appointed? Is there an objection to the credibility of any of them? Do we have alternative options instead of those that have been appointed? So, I mean, for me, it's let's get a panel that is acceptable in terms of credibility and let them now, carry out their assignment. That will be it for me, to be honest. So that at the end of the day, let it be obvious to everyone that some kind of fairness, not even some kind of fairness, that a very fair process has been carried out.
Let's speak hypothetically, because if we take Amaka's word as gospel, for example, and what she claims happened to her, that she was chased, that she was tripped over, that she had her clothes removed from her person, not entirely, and that she was penetrated with fingers into her vagina. If we take that is what she claims happened, what are your thoughts on that? Would you have then agreed that how Olashore dealt with that situation in 2004 was adequate? I just think that it's not even your issue here, but when we in the creation of the report that we played today, and in the conversations that we've had with Amaka, unfortunately I wasn't able to speak to any of the accused. They hadn't responded to any of my claims. It did feel as though we can agree that this thing is wrong, but also in the moment it does also feel as though nobody wants to point fingers at where the wrongdoing is. And if one person is unwavering in their accounts of what happened to them at 16, now at 34, shouldn't that count for something? It does feel as though, from what we've seen in terms of the pushback against Obiamaka, is that she cannot get fair treatment from her school because they treated her unfairly in the first place, which is why she would want a panel that is truly independent of the school itself. Don't you think that that is fair, to have a panel that would not be put together from the school that is going to be the source of the investigation?
So,
just briefly because of time, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. Like I said to you earlier, what we need to get is a truly independent panel, right?
So you agree that the one that they have now isn't truly independent?
No, I've not said that. I've certainly not said that. What I've said is the panel must be comprised of people with unquestionable integrity, so that we're sure that the outcome would be very fair. So however we come about that composition, once everybody agrees that this is a fair panel, then they should be allowed to run the process.
Just in a few seconds, what would be your thoughts as the president of the Alumni Association about the demands of Obiamaka? Adefemi said, if we look at it hypothetically and say that this were to be gospel truth, even though we know that there are allegations, strong allegations. But then the person in the eye of the storm is the one who has come forward to say that this is what happened to me, this is my truth, but these are my demands. Do you think that those are fair and achievable?
So my thoughts are, let the process run, right? Let the process run. When the process gets to conclusion, after taking representations from everybody, then we can now decide what is fair in the circumstance.
I think that's fair enough, Bode. We just want to thank you for joining us and sharing perspective on this very disheartening development, and we hope that justice hopefully will be served and in good time. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.